This is Kobe Watson, and you're welcome to Doctrine in Minutes.
It's Doctrine in Minutes. Do you have 2 minutes for biblical doctrine?
Today, on this episode, we are going to look at the history of the Bible. Now, the Bible is divided into two, the Old Testament and then the New Testament. The whole Old Testament has been divided into 4 different groups. So we have the Pentateuch or the Torah, the first 5 books of Moses. And then we also have certain books that report the historical record of the Israelites. Then we have the book of wisdom, like the Job, like the Psalms. And then we finally have the books of the prophets. These are the 4 divisions of the Old Testament. The Old Testament was written in Hebrew because the Israelites were Jews and they spoke Hebrew. Currently, they still speak the Hebrew language. However, interestingly, not every book in the Old Testament was written in Hebrew. Now, here's the reason. When King Solomon died, Israel was divided into 2. We had the northern kingdom and they had the southern kingdom. The northern kingdom was called Israel, and then the southern kingdom was Judah. That was where we had the temple and then the throne and all that, right? Now, that was the part that was conquered by the Babylonians. Israel, being a small kingdom, was surrounded by Assyria, Egypt, and Babylon. In BC 586, that was way before Christ came, the Babylonians, under the leadership of Nebuchadnezzar, exiled the Israelites, so they were taken to Babylon. That was the word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah, that the Israelites will be slaves or will be in exile for about 70 years. This prophecy came to pass. And this was what changed the whole landscape of the Old Testament Bible, because that was how Aramaic came into the picture. That was how portions of the Old Testament were written in Aramaic. The imperial language of these Babylonians was Aramaic. And of course, these Israelites went there, spent a lot of time there. So at some point in time, the Aramaic became their daily language, right? That they were speaking. So the historical accounts, the things that happened when they got there, most of the things were written not in Hebrew, but they were written in Aramaic, right? So when you take the book of Daniel, there are portions of the book of Daniel that were written in Aramaic, and the same as the book of Ezra, there are portions that were written in Aramaic just because of the political influence at the time over them, right? So in summary, the Old Testament was written in Hebrew, and portions of the Old Testament were also written in Aramaic.
Let's grow together. Hit follow and stay rooted.